In this module, we are going to create our first reactive form. The first thing that we need is to import a module in our app module. So let's go to our app module. Let's go here. Let's go to app and let's go to app module, and let me minimize this. We need the reactive forms module, so I will say import and I will say from Angular/forms, and here I will say module, and I'm looking for reactive forms module. So let me copy this and let me go down here and I will paste it here, and now we're able to use reactive forms in our application. The form that we're going to build in this video is a form for creating genres. So what we're going to do is that we're going to go to our create genre class so that we can start working. Let me close this, and in order to use reactive forms, we have to use something that is called a form group. With a form group, we can define what controls, what fields our form will have. And we also can define the initial value of those fields, the validation rules of those fields, and so on. So what we're going to do is that we're going to use a special service that will make it easy for us to define, to create a form group. And that service is called form builder. So let's say private form builder colon form builder, and form builder comes from Angular forms. And what I'm going to do is that here I will say form group, and in here in the ng on init I will say this form, and I will initialize a new form group. The form group is the one that is going to contain all of the elements of the form. Here I will say this form builder group, and in here we are going to create an object that will contain all of the fields of the form. In our case, we are only going to have one field, and that field is going to be called name, because this is the name of the genre. Now here I will say that this is equal to this value, which is going to be the default value of the field. We're going to manipulate this in a moment, but for now, we're going to use this form group in our reactive form. Let's see that here in Save Changes, what is going to happen is that when we say that we're going to create a new genre, we're just going to be redirected to the genres component, the index genres component. So let's create the form here in the HTML part of our component. So let me say create genre, let's go to the HTML, and in here we have this Save Changes button, but above it we can work. What I'm going to do is that I will initialize a form here, and I will use an event called submit, and I will say here save changes. So when we submit the form, we're going to invoke save changes, and in here we're also going to say form group, and we're going to associate our form to our form group, which is called form, which is this form that we have here. So let's go back here. And now here we're going to use a few controls from material design. So what we have to do is that we need to go to material.module because we need to import those modules. So here let's say import, and we're going to say from Angular material form field, and we're going to say here module mat form field module, and import from Angular material input, and here I will say module mat input module. Mat form field is a component used to wrap several Angular material components and apply common text field styles such as underline, floating labels, and hint messages. This is something that we're going to see in just a minute. A mat input is a directive that we will use in input elements that will allow the input to work with the mat form field. And now let's export those. Let's say here mat form field module and mat input module. Let me save and let's go back here. And now let's build our form. Let's say mat form field. We're going to use our mat form field. I'm going to say appearance equal to outline. This is related to the design of our form. Let's say math label, and I will say name, and I will put an asterisk here because this is going to be a required field. I will say input form control name. What is this form control name? The form control name allows me to associate this input control with the fields defined here in the form group. So here we have this name field in this form group, and so I can associate it with this input that we have here through the form control name attribute. So here I will put name because of this name field defined here. And now in here I have to say math input. Now I will define a div here, and I will use this button and I will paste it here. The only thing is that we're going to eliminate this event from here because we want to use the submit event of the form, and also I will eliminate this type button from here because I want to submit the form when the user clicks on the button. Also, I will create another control here, which is going to be an anchor, and I will say math struct button router link, and I want to redirect the user to /genres if the user clicks on this cancel button that we have here. We are ready to go. Now we can save this and we can go to Google Chrome and we can go to genres, create new, and here we have this form. As you can see, we have name here, and if I click on here, you can see that it moved up using a really cool animation, and I can write whatever I want here, for example action. And if I click on save changes, and as you can see we have these two buttons too close together, we're going to fix that in a minute, but if I click on here, I am redirected back to genres. Let me click on here and also click on cancel, and as you can see we are also redirected back to the genres route. So let me go back here and let me fix this design issue here. Let me go to the CSS of our create genre component. Let's say create genre CSS. Let me say button margin right 1em. Let me save. Let me go back here, and now they are separated. Now I told you before that here in the class of the component, this value here is the default value of the field. For example, let's say drama. Let me save, and then let's go back here, and as you can see, if I refresh, we have drama by default here. Besides that, I want to show you something else, and is that this appearance that we have here refers to the design of the control. I can remove it if I want, I can save, and then if I go back here, you can see that now we have this design that is different from before. In my case, I prefer this design, so I will use it throughout the course. Now, there is one problem, and is that I told you that this field is supposed to be required, but it isn't configured as that. For example, let's go back here, let me remove this drama from here, I will save, let's go back here, and as you can see, I haven't put any value here, but if I click on save changes, you can see that the form gets submitted, which is not ideal. I want the user not being able to submit the form if there is any pending validation rule. We will see that next.